Okay, I just wanted to make a quick video. This is the second Cfmoto product I've owned, and this is the Uforce 800. You'll notice that part of the front face is missing. Reason being for that is that control arm bolt, the nut kept falling off on it, and this bolt would work its way all the way out here, which just left that part hanging on. That happened as far away as I possibly could be on top of a mountaintop. A friend of mine who has a Z-Force 800, he kind of came back, and basically I used my winch and wrapped it around his tow hook and around the arm and used it to pull it back into position, and use a digging bar I keep with me to crank that into position, and then take a hammer and tap the bolt back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put two nuts on the back side of this thing, and I'm not going to have it happen again. But that's not what the reason for this video is. The 800 trail I had, Z-Force 800 trail, the Z-Force 800 trail I had, I put a new air intake in that to keep a lot of dust from getting into the system, and it worked really well, and it gave it a lot more horsepower. This thing here, when I got it, just didn't have the pep, and I really couldn't figure it out for a bit. No one had any suggestions. These are fairly new. So I live in Arizona, and it's a storm desert, and it gets pretty bloody hot here. So let me get the seat out of the way. This is the air intake. First off, it's down too low, and as you could see, it's really dirty. And it goes in through an elbow there. I'm going to show you in a minute. That basically gets pinched off. Okay, so this is what I did. Now you could take this all with a grain of salt and improve upon it. I was going to put a tube up here to the ceiling to keep the dust out, but it's high up enough. I don't have a windshield, so it gets clean air. So I took a cheap hole saw from Harbor Freight, and as you can see, I put a hole there. Okay, now then, let me take this off. Cover off. I would not recommend this. I bored two holes up here. I figured the air coming in here and making the hard turn would help keep the dust out in rainwater anyway. The problem is that I found out too late that the cover is like right up against it, so it wasn't going to aspirate correctly. So I bored some smaller ones. These are like, I don't know, about an inch and a quarter. There's four of them. There's one there, two in the front, and one on the opposite side. Now then, you also have the back side of the cover, which is open to the atmosphere, but I elected not to put any holes in the back. Now, you can really see that now, how that bends. And it is really soft rubber. And under load, it collapses. I tried to put things in there to keep that from happening and just got too frustrated with it. So I'm leaving it hooked up right now, just because it doesn't really matter to me. I may pull it off of there and maybe plug that hole. I might even take this box out of here, although I believe the bottom is the intake for some other kind of component. I don't know what. So anyway, once I did this, this thing is a demon. You step on it, you get that low throaty roar, because obviously, you know, the carburetor is right there and it's just sucking in air. There's no silencing or anything like that. But this thing has as much power as my friend's Z-Force 800. So the aspiration in these things, they're not made to be racing machines. You're not going to do the Baja 500 with it. But I really suggest, if you want more power, doing something like this. I suppose you don't even have to put the hole in the front right there. I thought about boring a hole straight through the top, lining it up with a hole straight through here, but I didn't want a direct entry there, mainly because, you know, rainwater blows in through the opening that doesn't have a windshield. I didn't want it really getting in there as much as it could. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, feel free to give me an email at firewaterforge@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. And thanks for watching.